as I was dealing with these issues myself when I was at the Pakistan mission in Washington, D.C. during the Bush and the Clinton administrations. The book talks about 5 U.S. administrations' non-proliferation policies towards Pakistan, from the 30th U.S. President General Ford to the 42nd U.S. President Bill Clinton. The time period covered in this book from 1947 to 2001 is crucial for understanding the history and the necessity of Pakistan's nuclear weapons for its security assurance as well as for strategic regional balance. The history of Pak-US relations has been characterized by, unfortunately, mutually negative misperceptions of the two countries for each other. In Pakistan-US relations, the rapidly changing regional and strategic dynamics played a significant part. Although the author has highlighted that apart from regional dynamics, the internal political environment of both Pakistan and the US have played important roles also in determining the US stance and the Pakistani response at various times in this period. Swiftly changing strategic dynamics and dissimilarity in national security objectives of both countries have undermined the stable long-term strategic alliance and eventually created the now well-known trust deficit of the two countries. The book is a significant contribution because Dr. Rabia has discussed a wide range of issues altogether in a single draft, which includes the whole array of US sanctions regime and other issues such as the Sanctions Amendment, Glenn Amendment, the cancellation of Pakistan-France reprocessing agreement on plutonium reprocessing plant on basis of US concerns, the Solar's Amendment, Pressler Amendment, the Pakistan-US cooperation against Soviet expansion, Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, the Brown Amendment, Harkin-Warner Amendment, issue of delivery of purchased F-16s to Pakistan, nuclearization of South Asia, US efforts for CTBT, Kargil, and the US crisis management efforts. The book argues, I must say here, and I'll talk about it later when I review the book, that I personally interacted with Senator Pressler, with Congressman Solas, with Senator Brown at various times during my stay there. The book argues that the US failed to prevent Pakistan from achieving and testing its nuclear weapons capability. Was not a policy failure but an enforcement failure, which all 5 administrations from Ford to Clinton tried to deal with. But it pushed Pakistan to choose between the aid and the bomb. In doing so, each administration prioritized foreign policy over non-proliferation, and such tools could not have influenced proliferation behavior of the state with determined nuclear officials. According to my understanding, the book is a critique of the US non-proliferation policies, as it concludes that Pakistan's popular narrative needs a reset with respect to the objectives and successes of the US non-proliferation policies towards Pakistan. An important takeaway from the book is that Pakistan's commitment and political will of civilian governments from Bhutto to Sharif, not just Benazir but also starting with Mr. Zulfikar Bhutto himself, remained completely firm on this cause, assuring Pakistan's strategic stability in face of Indian aggression through developing its nuclear bombs. The book, The Blind Eye, is significant also for 2 reasons. First, because it is based on primary sources, archival data of the US including presidential documents and archives of the Senate. It gives the authenticity to the scholarly work on security matters. Western scholars and literature have always put the onus of nuclear proliferation on Pakistan. However, it is clear from archival data of the US that US policies are also to be put, are also such as to be put on the onus of blame. In international relations, interests are of course not permanent. And I second the author's claim that it is the US who compromised its non-proliferation policies for its foreign policy objectives. Pakistan has pursued its own objectives in this whole episode. Second, it is the first scholarly account of US non-proliferation policies towards Pakistan, starting from when Pakistan first felt the need to develop its own nuclear weapons program till the time of the nuclear tests. Not much has been written in such detail in Pakistan, and therefore this book is a major contribution to building the Pakistani perspective on this issue of strategic importance. The extensive research of the author, Dr. Rabia Akhtar, is very valuable for our new scholars on strategic studies. I need not go on and on, so I once again thank you for your presence, which is very greatly valued by us here. I will conclude and let the reviewers of the book begin presenting their reviews. I am confident that we will benefit greatly from their perspectives today. Thank you.